Hey guys, Graveender here. What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Marvel Contest of Champions. And today, we're going to be taking a look at 10 awesome synergy bonus teams for Alliance Wars on the offensive side. Now, I'm currently in the 4-star arena setup here because I want to just give you guys a look at 3 characters pitted together, not where we have open spaces. So this is the best place to do this at, in my opinion. But let's jump right into it now. All of these teams are going to have some pretty good synergy bonuses. It's not probably going to be your typical teams that you would be taking into Alliance Wars, but these guys can boast some pretty good damage, some pretty good defense, and overall just some really awesome teams. But first off, we're going to be starting off with the team of Storm, Black Panther, and Iron Fist. So we got Storm, Black Panther, and Iron Fist. Here we go. Now, taking a look at this team, you're probably thinking this probably isn't the best team in the world to be taken into Alliance Wars on offense. But really, on paper, they stack up pretty well. Number one, Iron Fist and Storm hit like Mack trucks. They're absolutely awesome characters, especially with the willpower nerf. You've got Iron Fist that can stack an unlimited amount, as far as I've ever seen, of armor breaks, and Storm crits like a beast. So, I mean, the two of them paired together work really well as an offensive team, along with Black Panther, who bleeds out characters like it's absolutely insane. Now, these guys, they boast a 6% armor, 10% power gain, and 25% crit damage. I like that because of the fact that you're going to be getting more crits off of those armor breaks with Iron Fist to begin with. Then you add 25% crit damage to it, and he's going to be knocking people out. Same goes for Storm. Storm is a crit beast, especially if you pair her up with someone that gives her a 25% crit damage boost. That's pretty awesome in my opinion. And then you got the 10% power gain between Black Panther and Storm. These guys are going to be popping off level 1 and level 2 attacks like crazy. You get Iron Fist in there and he gets that buff and he gets up to a level 2 attack with a bunch of armor breaks on. Game over, man. It's game over. It really is. These are really good teams in my opinion. This is a really good team in my opinion. Let's move on to the next one. So for this next team, we have Juggernaut, Hulk, and Thor. And I know what you guys are thinking, like, Juggernaut and Hulk, what? Those guys are definitely better for defense. They probably are better on defense, but my God, if you pair these guys up with Thor, you guys love Thor. I know everybody out there loves Thor. Pair Thor up with Hulk and Juggernaut, and you've got a 14% crit rate and a 25% crit damage boost going on there. That is absolutely insane. Thor is going to be wrecking stuff with this team. He really is. And if you've got a Juggernaut, he's going to be popping off those unstoppables like crazy. Hulk, if you get in a pinch with him, got 14% crit rate, 25% crit damage, and he's lost a little bit of health, he's probably going to be knocking people across the room. But Thor is the biggest advantage to this team in my opinion. And that boost from crit rate and crit damage is absolutely going to counteract anything that you've got going on, because Thor is just going to demolish stuff. He is going to wreck stuff. This guy's like the Wreck-It Ralph of Marvel. No, you know, you'd think Hulk or Juggernaut would be, but Thor is definitely the Wreck-It Ralph of Marvel as far as I'm concerned. So let's move on to the next team. So for this team, we've got Moon Knight, Hawkeye, and Deadpool X-Force. Now, the key thing to this whole group is Moon Knight. He ties the whole group together. He's the one that brings the synergies together. They both get a boost off of Moon Knight. And honestly, Moon Knight's not that awful of a character to use as far as offense goes to begin with, because of the fact that he bleeds and he's a pretty good power hitter. And the fact that, you know, you never know what you're going to get with him unless you like study astrological charts and you know exactly what phase the moon is in. But it's a pretty awesome team. You've got Hawkeye, who can bleed and power drain. X-Force Deadpool, if he's awakened, he bleeds every hit, and his L2 bleeds like crazy. Moon Knight, whose L1 bleeds, and his L2 hits like a Mack truck. And you couple all three together and you get a 50% crit damage and a 6% armor buff. That's pretty cool. 50% crit damage, you got to think Hawkeye is probably going to be popping off hemorrhages left and right with a 50% crit damage. So it's going to be pretty cool. It would be pretty awesome of a team. I mean, he's probably going to be power draining like crazy. X-Force Deadpool's going to be bleeding like crazy, and Moon Knight's just going to be wrecking stuff as far as I'm concerned. It's just, this is a really good team on paper to me. I think it would be a pretty good team inside of the Alliance Wars map as well. So, I mean, if you want to give it a try, give it a try. Let's move on to the next team. Alright, so for this team, we've got Captain Marvel, Wolverine, and Magneto. Now, I know this is probably a pretty weird combination, but on paper, they're pretty decent. Captain Marvel is an awesome character, especially whenever she's awakened, because of the fact that she absorbs any kind of oncoming damage that she gets from energy-based attacks and converts that over to her power bar meter. So that's pretty awesome. And the higher up that her power bar is, the harder she's going to hit. Wolverine can bleed like crazy and he regens, and that's always a good thing when it comes to doing these kind of missions, is the fact that you can regenerate your own health and you don't have to worry about losing it so much. Wolverine, probably not the best regen character in the game, but he is by far one of the better regen characters in the game. His bleed's pretty okay. It's not on par with a character like Black Panther's, but it's pretty good. I like it. Magneto is a beast of a tank. He can't, if he's awakened, this guy can't take a certain amount. If you hit him with an L3, it's not going to kill him. Even if he has a little bit of life left, it's not going to knock him out because of the fact that his signature ability doesn't allow it to happen. And this team also boasts a 5% power gain and 14% crit rate. So you're going to be getting special attacks more. Captain Marvel is going to be getting her special attacks more, which means that you can let it build up faster, and she's going to do more damage. And the 14% crit rate is going to be absolutely insane. Crit rate is an absolute awesome thing to have in this game. I love this team. I think they're a pretty cool group to go into Alliance Wars with. So give it a try. Let me know what you guys think. Let's move on to the next team. So alright, here's the next team we've got on the lineup. AntMan, Yellow Jacket, and Ultron. Now I know this is another one of those obscure teams that doesn't really seem like these guys would go well together, but they really do. This team has the 12% attack and 25% crit damage boost off of all three put together. Yellow Jacket is an awesome clutch character to have because of the fact that he doesn't even need to be awakened. His ability, if you hit a person with a level 1 or level 2 attack, if they decide they want to do it back, they're taking massive amounts of damage. That happens regardless of if he's awakened or not. The only thing awakening him does is if they don't pop off an L1 or an L2, it just stuns them. So that's pretty cool in my book, the fact that he does that much damage. He can do tons and tons of damage. Yellow Jacket is a beast of a character, and then you add a 12% attack and 25% crit damage onto that, he's going to wreck stuff, man. Ant-Man's the same way, especially if he's awakened. He is going to be a tank of a character to go up against. And then if you add enough fatigues and hit him with an L2 and poison him to death, come on, what's better than that? Ultron's the same way. Ultron regens, he bleeds, he stuns, he evades. Ultron is primarily more a defense character as far as it goes with the Alliance Wars, but he could also, if you don't use him in your defense on Alliance Wars, he could make an awesome offense character as well. You got two tanks, and all of them are pretty much heavy hitters here. So it's Yellow Jacket's obviously going to be doing your most damage, but 12% attack boost and 25% crit damage boost, that's pretty awesome. Let's move on to the next team. So for this lineup, we have Black Widow, Hulk, and Hawkeye. Now we've touched on Hulk and we've touched on Hawkeye. Black Widow is a key character that you're going to need running through these maps if you're taking the paths that have the thorns on them. You definitely need Black Widow to go up against that. But this team boasts 12% armor, a 5% power gain, and a 25% stun chance on specials. That's why I put her in. That's why I put Hulk in with this group, because that stun chance. And I mean, you could technically sub out Hulk for Hulk Buster if you don't have him, because you're still getting that 25% stun chance on specials. But why wouldn't you want that possibility to stun the opponent? Because I mean, you're gonna be using Black Widow's special 1 and special 2 attacks because they hit so hard, and they add the cruelty and the fury buff onto her. And then you've got Hulk. You're going to be hitting just about everything you can. His L2 is the one you really want to hit. That's the power hitter. Hawkeye, you're going to be popping off L1s like crazy. So why not take a chance to also bleed, hemorrhage, stun, and power drain all at the same time? That's 4 abilities that Hawkeye could have right there. And it's just awesome to me. I love the team. I think they're pretty awesome. Let's move on to the next one. So for this team, we've got Vision, Age of Ultron, Vision Classic, and Scarlet Witch. Now, I know Scarlet Witch is probably, unless she's at high levels, she's going to be pretty detrimental as far as a character goes running in Alliance Wars, because of the fact that she buffs so many times, or debuffs so many times, that she could potentially just have someone regain all their health. But with this team, she probably won't. 7% crit rate, 10% power gain. You've got 2 characters, Vision, Age of Ultron, and Vision Classic, who can drain power. And it's awesome. They drain power off their L1s, and they can heal block. Or at least I know that Vision, Age of Ultron can heal block off of his L1. L2s, they drain power like crazy, and that comes in really handy in Alliance Wars. Scarlet Witch is just a beast of a character, and if you take her into the whole group of this mix, and you play with her at high levels of her signature ability, she is going to be totally wrecking stuff in here. I like the team. I think it's really awesome. I would probably stick to using the Visions more. I know Vision Classic is a character that not everybody has. But I mean, even if you're running this as a 3-star, you know, if you're a lower level player and you only have 3 stars that you can actually take in, you could set this team up. You would have this team. So let's move on into the next group. So next up on the list, we've got Captain America World War II, Wolverine, and Winter Soldier. Now, I like this team, not just because of the 30% armor buff that you get, but because of the fact that you've got a bunch of bleed characters, one that hits like a Mack truck off of his L2, which is Winter Soldier. He can also power drain if you have him awakened. You need to have him a pretty decent awakened level for him to pop off a bunch of power drains, or just get really, really lucky in the aspect that he does. And you've got Wolverine, who regens and bleeds like crazy. And then you've got Captain America World War II, who's just a complete beast and has one of the highest block proficiency base stats in the game. And he also bleeds like crazy off of his L2. So you've got a pretty good tank team here, in my opinion. You've got a couple of good bleeders, and you've got Winter Soldier, who hits like a Mack truck off of his L2. Absolutely, especially if he's got a Fury buff on. His L2 can knock you out completely. And it's just an overall good team. Armor is not my favorite buff in the game, but a 30% armor buff, that's pretty cool. I like it. Let's move on into the final 2 teams. And these 2 teams are absolutely my favorite teams for Alliance Wars. So for our second to last team, we have Black Bolt, Ronan, and Gamora. This is another hodgepodge of characters that you probably wouldn't think that would do well in Alliance Wars, but I personally think they would. Now, the biggest buff that we have here, and this is why I went with the all cosmic characters in this, because we could have went with a few different variations of this team that would have gave different buffs to each character. But I went with the all cosmic team because of the fact that we've got the Cosmic Supremacy level 3 buff off of Ronan and Black Bolt. Cosmic Champions gain plus 30% duration for all Fury, Precision, Cruelty, and Armor Up buffs. Gamora, Black Bolt, they've got those, so they're going to get a buff off of it. I'm not positive off the top of my head if Ronan does or not. See, he doesn't, but does have armor break, but that doesn't factor in. Armor break does not factor into this, but it doesn't matter. The biggest key factor here is that Cosmic Supremacy, because of the fact that you have Black Bolt and Gamora who can benefit from it because their buffs are going to last longer, and you have a 50% crit rate damage, not crit rate damage, 50% crit damage along with this team. And if any of you guys know, Gamora, when she's awakened, that assassination is absolutely insane. So if you go in with Gamora and she has her buff on, you hit an L2, it crits, gives you assassinate, you get 50% crit damage boosted on top of that. That's absolutely insane to me. And then you've got Black Bolt and Ronan, who are both beastly characters because of the fact that their L1s and L2s absolutely stun the crap out of people. I really wouldn't suggest using L3s in Alliance Wars to begin with because of the time factor. It just takes too long for those animations, so you're going to want to pop off L1s like crazy. And Black Bolt and Ronan both have very, very quick L1 and L2s. Gamora does as well. Hers is pretty fast, but you're not really going in with her for fast. You're going in with her for the kill, man. She is probably one of the hardest hitters in this game, and probably one of the most underrated because of that aspect, because nobody really uses her that much. But now let's take a look at my all-time favorite team, the team that I normally run in Alliance Wars. So for our final team, we've got Black Widow, Daredevil, and Elektra. I absolutely love this team. This is a team that I run more than anything. Here lately, considering my Black Widow is at rank 5 now, she's usually the one that I use the most, even if it's not a Thorns node. I think I took out at least 6 players in Alliance Wars in this last Alliance War, just with Black Widow alone, until I hit a brick wall with a Venom Pool who had a ton of buffs on him, and then caught me with an Unstoppable out of nowhere. But aside from that, you got a 15% power gain and a 25% crit damage buff with this team. 15% power gain, guys. That's absolutely crazy. Black Widow is going to be popping off her L1s and L2s like crazy, which is going to keep her buffs on her all the time. Daredevil, we're getting a cruelty buff with him, along with the possibility to stun if he crits. L1, L2 every single time. It's going to be awesome. That's an awesome team to me. I love these guys. And Elektra bleeds, and she's a power hitter too. You might not think it. I love her play style, but she's a power hitter too, and she bleeds off of her L1 and L2. So it's an absolute crazy team. It may be all skills, but I love them. I absolutely love this team. I think they're awesome. This is my go-to for the most part. Sometimes I like to throw in an extra character and take out Elektra, but for the most part, as soon as I get Elektra up to rank 4, this will be my Alliance War team. But hopefully you guys learned a little bit from this. Hopefully you guys like some of these teams. Let me know what you guys run with in Alliance Wars in the comment section down below. And that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If it's your first time watching the channel and you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a sub on it. If you enjoyed the video itself, please leave a like on it. And as always, guys, remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.
'Cause we scream, fight, hate, cry. No one's ever backing down.